Let us open with Day 3's Con Swag. Con Swag. The Hater Studio, I think that's what it's called, did this Star Trek portrait with the cat ears, because the cat ears are gone. So I had to put the ears back on it in the photo. There's the artwork. There's the thingy here. Let's see. We have dice. Haven't seen these in a long time. There's a dice. I may get some more. They're pretty cheap, so I may get some more tomorrow. Some more dice. And also, I saw either a shirt that said there were two shirts that were possibilities. I ended up with the other one because I didn't have the other one. The other shirt would have said, "I don't know what I'm doing," and it had a little dog at a computer. But this one is also appropriate for the cast and crew of Trans-Tech and Star Trek Chimera and all that, because he's kind of a little anime character, of course. And even though it's an XL, they're small. They run small. So it's an XL in might need this layer. That's awesome. Might need this layer. Yes. It's a little panda. These pandas are awesome. Yeah. So yeah, that's the con swag from today. And there's the outfits and stuff. Tomorrow we're doing this. Tomorrow we're doing this guy. Oh no. But yeah. Maybe one of the other Star Trek outfits too, I'm not sure. Yeah, probably one of the Star Trek outfits. Probably one of the other ones, yeah. So the thingy. Rundown of the thingy. Bathe in darkness. Blah. No. This is Kal Kat, the Kal Katster. You are watching Fanime Con commentary track, which will be different from the slideshow track. Slideshow will discuss other things for 20 minutes. This is a commentary track. So we have follow-ups to... we have a follow-up story. The Wario, Mario, and Luigi cast returned. And so actually, they didn't include Luario, the yellow one, but they included the other three. And they refined their sketch so that it was more, streamlined. But it was also, and they showed fan art, jokey sort of things about Wario taking over various other properties, such as the Studio Ghibli properties and stuff like that. Crunchyroll is dead, so Crunchyroll was taken over by Sony, and they basically changed everything. But made it possible for them to make jokes about Sonic the Hedgehog and Tails having an affair with Wario, because of course, yes. There were a few funny scenes where audience participation occurred. Including one in which they were implying that a couple of times he said that he was with Knuckles. They were intimate. And he kept bragging about his penis. So at one point, he was saying, I said that's what he said. I laughed. Yeah, but and there was another fan in the audience who reminded them of another annoying fan from 3 years ago, and said annoying fan from last 3 years ago showed up at the very end of the panel and said, "Oh, no, that's the guy from 3 years ago." Yep, who was drunk on near beer. One of those. Yeah, it wasn't even beer. It was sugar, I guess. This time I wasn't though. Have anything. Tea, I guess. Yeah, so they moved to Burritozilla, or at least I didn't remember where it was. I think they moved it, because the pizza place is now where the Burritozilla is. The pizza place, Ma's Pizza, was not open in the afternoon. It was closed, but the Burritozilla was, it was an elaborate looking place. I think it used to be where the Philly cheesesteak place was. They moved it, but I'm not sure about that. Maybe the one next door that I'm thinking of. But it was one of those in the three Victorian houses near the campus, down the ways. For lunch, I followed the cast members from various casts down there for lunch. After the dance thing that happened. It's not on the slideshow, but there was a comment by some of the fans after that mentioned the troubadours and stuff. One of them remembered that because I filmed the dance going on. One of them remembered me and thought that I was in the dance thing, the troubadour thing, and it was like an old one from the before or something, which is impossible because it's from Japan. But anyway, he remembered from several years ago at Fanime. I said, no, I was just a fan. I just jumped in and got in their act. I'm not troubadour. But yeah, maybe my instructor went to the same school that they went. I don't know. But no, there's no relation. But yeah, no, I didn't do any of the freak dancing. Although it was very similar. You'll see the freak dancing on the slideshow. It's very similar to stuff I did back in the day. So yeah. Yes, so yeah, it's interesting. The whole thing. The third day was a little longer on the slide. Yeah, it wasn't as exciting as yesterday, and then it wasn't there wasn't a bizarre epileptic spell that someone had and fainted. But the excitement came from other characters acting insane, crazy, and doing stuff more so than it did the other. At the Burritozilla, I didn't pop the top off the Doritos and a soda drink, and had to go back and get the bottle opener guy. but yeah. Oh, and I didn't mention last episode that at the Ma's Pizza place, the manager / barmaid lady was a very buxomy looking, possibly half Hispanic, half Filipino lady, in dressed in what amounted to a tank top, kind of with an overpull thing, black tank top. Yeah, I just thought I would mention. There were plenty of other people dressed in scantily clad outfits. Yesterday there was a princess, sort of a She-Ra, like another She-Ra. There were 2 or 3 of them, and there was a kid one, and there was an adult, kiddish one, and an adult. I don't think it was a kid. I think it was just one dressed like. And the other one was some kind of princess thing. It was a dude, but it was a very, very, very gender fluid looking dude who could pass for a woman if he was in a just slightly dimly lit nightclub or something. He could do the Lancer from Robotech thing, and no one would be convinced it was except for his voice that he was a dude, but he could pass for a lady, which a dude looks like a lady. And that old song back in the day, and he was there today too, and he was dressed as Wonder Woman this time. He again didn't want any pictures taken of him, but briefly you can see him walking by. And his voice is a little lower than mine, which made it hilarious and awesome at the same time. Maybe he's doing it on a dare. They also, I also mentioned that somebody wanted to know where the protesters had gone. The video, Capo mentions it, or Kirk, I guess. It's playing Kirk Trekio, basically Trekio Kirk. So it was Trekio, Kal Kat, straight up Trekio. At times he might have been kind of the Billy Allen character a little bit, because he references Shubalaffa and Fuzzy Face. That's the same guy. Whereas Silly Kelly is Kal Kat and MC Kim thing, and Silly Kelly. He was probably there too. But yeah, so there were also some other mentioned. Well, I got around to putting this together. It is late. For the third act here. The fourth and final day will include the Eeyore costume and something else, because gotta have the Eeyore costume. That's gotta be used. 3 years ago I picked that up, and after Fanime, I think it was in October, during the lockdown, and I gotta wear this at some point. Or I think it was before the lockdown, actually. It was like, yeah, it was 2019 in October. You know, when it was the Halloween thing with it. That's what it was. Halloween thing. Like the Chewbacca one from before. Which is basically... The Chewbacca one is actually supposed to look like this. But it didn't. Yeah. All made up. I couldn't find me any new ears. Sort of a beanie or something. I didn't really see anything that was worthy of Mark's cards necessarily. I'll have to look deeper tomorrow. Because I'm probably not going to leave the con center at all tomorrow, because it's a holiday and there probably is nothing going to be open. Because it's the holiday, it's Monday. So whatever the con has for food and stuff, it's going to have to be at the con. Because nothing's going to be open. And then, so, well, you can't sneak food in. I think they would be able to tell. So, yeah. Wow. Con. Okay, the slideshow has rendered. I've gone on for about 12 minutes for this segment here. And I think I'll save the commentary for the rest of it for the slideshow, because they've pretty much recapped things. I guess I could go on a little bit more, though. There were 2 other panels, just to go on a little more. Let's see, I'll save this. Okay, I'm prepared to play Day 3, but I'm not going to do it yet. Okay, there was a panel on... quite a few panels. So there starts with the Wario panel. We also had the... well, briefly there was mention of a panel that was a sort of a success panel, but in a, you know, in your apocalypse, but it became a success panel. Just, yeah. I guess, yeah, there was also some mystery concerning the panels and how they're done, how the Fanime approves of them. But some of that was revealed in the Transformers and the Robotech panel, the robot panel. Robot or mecha, or the mechas make sense, basically, kind of deal. Transformers and then mecha. It was at the artist alley, and that's where I got the artwork. And the Transformers panel, they briefly glossed over one of the things, which was Kiss players, because they 16 and they didn't want to go 16 and up. So there was there's rules. They can't like mention Rule 34 apparently now, which is odd, because if it was after the later panels, they used to. I think they canceled them though. There was going to be like a Lolita panel later on in the evening after adult panel. They use that word, and they don't mean the movie, the American movie, or the book. They don't mean that. They're just saying titillating. Yeah, it wasn't gonna have the movie in it. I keep saying that. So no, it didn't stay for anything like that. The Transformer thing's funny on its own, because one of the legitimate Transformers series spin-offs had Breast Force and Breast Masters. After Headmasters and Target Masters, they had Breast Masters. which makes it sound like it's some kind of S&M thing. And that was where there was the kink panelist guy. No, there was nobody from the. There was mention of where did all the protest sign guys go? And I jokingly said that they all became furries because we converted them to furries, except for the one that was really really adamant. He became a kink. So yeah, and ironically he appeared at the convention, but not as a kink, but he was there. So, he wasn't really doing the kinky. Yeah. But yeah, there was some Transformers fans behind me who were very excited, who were a little special, and just a little bit. But yeah, and they were going on about the toys and stuff, and that's fine. Yeah, they were apparently from the Armada generation, so they're in their 20s. A little later, it was during the next one, the Mecha panel, that one of them made a joke about being boomer, even though the guy is not a boomer. The guy at the panel was also in his 20s, late 30s, early 20s, and is not a boomer. He's a millennial, so I don't know what he's talking about. But yeah, the mecha guy, the mecha dude, yeah, anybody that's under 36 is a millennial. Anybody that's about 70 is the other thing. 70. So yeah. So the way that goes is the baby boomer. I know that they're being ironic. Millennials got to say "okay, boomer" to their parents, but even the millennials should realize that that's their grandparents that are boomers. Really, if they're being ironic, then fine. But yeah. So the baby boomers are roughly 1945 to 1965. After World War II, and then on another 20 years. Then roughly 1965, 66 to 86, to 1986, there's your X generation. The X generation spinoff. 1986 to 2006 is your millennials. Those late 80s, early millennials. Anybody that's into probably, yeah. Anybody that was born in 2006, of course, would have no clue as to that. Wouldn't have nostalgia for the Unicron trilogy, the Armada. Post-millennials are 2006 to 2026, and they are the post-millennials. They're second baby boomers. At the end of that, they're the second baby boomers, born during the pandemic. So kind of. The mecha guy was an ex-marine from Iraq and Fallujah, he said that they learned how to drive. Well, they told him, they signed him to a truck. They had to teach him how to drive a big old transport truck. So, yeah. So, he's talking about mechas and stuff, and different mecha that works and stuff. Left out Macross and Robotech, but briefly ran out of time and was going to mention it. No, I mentioned it to him afterward that it was odd that the one of the robots had a big gun and it had a giant laser scope, like a sniper scope sight on the gun. And although that's cool, for a robot that's got internal cameras and heads-up display, as he pointed out, it would have cameras. It's just then why would it need the scope? It's got internal cameras. He was probably thinking, you guys aren't by chance Air Force, are you? No. But my father was Army Air Corps, World War II. He didn't say that, but it would have been funny if he did. Air Force. You guys are good. Because you'd figure if anybody invented space mecha for tromping around. The Air Force would do it first, and then the Marines would get the heavy-duty ones. That kind of thing. So, the Air Force would do it first. They'd try to make like mecha jets. That would probably fall apart. And then the military would make helicopter ones, which would be incredibly complex. It isn't that we don't have drones already and stuff. I've seen that robotic, it's a dog, cop dog thing. Yeah, so they have that. I've seen those things. Interesting. So they're just shy of having RoboCops running around. Although not with a human brain inside them, because that doesn't make sense. Be like a pilot inside it. But how is a robot a drone or not, you know? Is it technically a droid? Like, yeah, what is the lady in Ghost in the Shell technically? She's a droid, technically. Anyway. But yeah, also the open cockpits in the Matrix, you can get around to that. But yeah, you're and the fact that a lot of that stuff does harken back to BattleTech and stuff like that. He's a younger guy, so he's probably not aware of all of that backstory. You can look that up. And wasn't interested in going there anyway, so that's fine. but yeah, a mecha battle suit thing is kind of silly, but we like it. So it's all a euphemism of Japanese imperialism and stuff, anyways. That's all that stuff is. I mean, Robotech is a war show about a military that's powerful, that has an unstoppable like spaceship. Like, so does Gundam. So do a lot of them. It's a trope. If you have unstoppable robot warriors, I was one of the few people that actually played Mech Warriors. So when he mentioned Mech Warrior, he did. So yeah, I've played them. But he had played the online version. Yeah, I had the PC version of Mech Warrior. It was really, really hard on the final 2 levels. Technically didn't get to the final 2 levels. I had my nephew Dan win it for me. But yes, but yeah, then the computer died. It's funny. But the online one is harder. So. Yeah, there's Mech Warrior. Anyway, so that wasn't what he was on about, though. He was talking about other things. You know, it makes sense to have like it did make sense that he said, like, why would a robot have like a giant police gun, or even a giant gun in his hand? Why wouldn't it be mounted like to his forearm or something? That makes more sense than him having to go through the trouble of grabbing a hold of a gun and holding it. And actually, melee combat, they wouldn't really fight each other with knives. That would make sense because they're robots. But it's supposed to look cool, so. Yeah, a knife or a dagger or a bayonet wouldn't really make sense with a giant robot. But a sword might. If you could have like if the sword had like some sort of ability to cut through metal, like you're saying. So like, okay, it's not a lightsaber because that doesn't exist, but rather the sword is so hot that it melts other metal. That'd be kind of cool. So, energy sword. Still, it would be like, wouldn't it melt the sword eventually? Armor-piercing rounds. Robot. Oh, yeah, the robot that he picked for the awesome version of Robot was rather midriff heavy and bulky, and probably wouldn't be too effective running. It would be like a tank, legs. It wouldn't be really slow. Of course, sometimes they make those really spindly robots that are too weak and fragile and would fall apart. Really, a Veritech wouldn't really work, but we think it's fun. So. But maybe one of those Mac 10 or Mac 3s or the Spartan, or the Excalibur, which look a lot like the ones in BattleTech and MechWarrior, because they are basically taken from that design. Any short transformer that has basically guns and feet and goes is pretty much, yeah, same idea. Sure. Breast force. Anyway, I'm going to go on to the other thing.